Morning, everybody. We have doubled the chores for a whole week. Let's talk about it right now. So good morning, everybody. Staying here from Rocky Creek. We hope everybody's been doing really good. But yeah, so we got double the chores. A lot of people ask us all the time about, do we get to go out of town at all by doing this homesteading stuff or go on vacation? And the answer is, yes, we do. But it's very difficult. And we try to only go on about one true vacation a year. Now we may go somewhere for a day or two here or there, but for I say 3 or more days is what I would consider a true vacation. We definitely try to only do that once a year because it is a lot of work. So with that being said, we are actually taking care of some friends of ours' farm who lives very close to us. And in turn, when we go out of town, they will probably be the ones to come and take care of ours, which is what we've done for the last couple of years. So we're gonna knock out our farm chores, and then we're gonna take you along with us to show you what their setup's like, because they got some really interesting animals, and they have a setup that is very small scale, and they got a lot of animals in a very small area. And some animals that we don't have here in our homestead that may be applicable for you on a small scale homestead as well. So let's get our guys knocked out, and we'll take you over there and show you all their pretty cool setup. Morning, Henry. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you smile. Oh. Let's get some breakfast. Morning, buddy. So you may have noticed there was a little bit of a kind of a smoke coming off of my breath and Henry's breath. And it'd been in the 90s for about 2 or 3 weeks. And now we've actually got some beautiful temperatures. It's been about in the 80s, middle of the day. And then it's actually getting down to the 50s and 60s at nighttime, which has been very nice. I can hear them in there. They're getting all rambunctious. Go ahead and put their food in now, though. They can just come around and get it. I hear you. Good morning, everybody. Oh, hey, watch out. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. What are y'all scared IMs? So this was actually the first night in the big coop for the IM Somanis, and I guess they don't really know what to do. They're not used to the process of getting out. The IMs had been sleeping in that guy at nighttime, but they've actually finally worked their way into this coop and seem to be accepted. There they go. Morning, Q-Tip. The older chickens, Q-Tip, our broody hen from last year, they kind of always come to me instead of their regular food. They always come running up to me waiting because they know I always give them a little bit of scratch grain in the mornings. And they really like to hold out for that. So let's get them a little bit of scratch grain. See them? The dynamic trio right there. I hear you, Q-Tip. I'm getting it. Hey, you need to be patient. It's like raising an It's like raising an angry toddler. Get my food! Get my food! I got it. Calm down. I have it. Hey. There, put some corn in your mouth and shush it. Nobody wants to hear that first thing. Oh, here they all come now. Let's go up here and take care of old Mater and Olivia before they get to fighting again like they did the other day. It's weird. They get so mad, want to be the first one to get to the food, but as soon as I give them the food, they're good the rest of the day, no problem. Good morning, piggies. Mater. Good morning, Mater. Good morning, Olivia. How'd y'all get your food bowls all the way down here? Huh? Hey, get out the way. Move. There's one of y'all's. Come here. There you go, girl. Come on. Y'all be good. Hey, can you behave today, please? I bet you gotta be over 300 pounds, brother. You're getting bigger by the day. I thought you were done growing. You been working out? Been doing them push-ups? Trying to look good for old girl? Where y'all going? All right, I think we got our people fairly well maintained. They're at least content for now. So let's jump in the car and ride over and show you what kind of cool setup they got and what cool animals they have. Well guys, here we are at my friend's property. They got a nice little setup here. You know, they're not, I wouldn't call them what I would say homesteaders. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You know, you just got different types of stuff. You got people who are into homesteading, true farming, hobby farms, you know, petting zoos, you know, whatever it is. And I would actually consider what they have going on more of what I would call a hobby farm. They got more animals than I do, and they care for them greatly, and they got a great setup. I just don't consider it homesteading because much of what they raise isn't really for food consumption. It's more for their enjoyment, their kids' entertainment. They've hosted community events here where people have been able to come and interact with the animals. So I would call theirs more a hobby farm, but most of what they raise could be applicable to a homesteader because they do serve purposes. They just choose not to use them for that purpose. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's farm is individualized to them, and you got to run it how you want to and take care of your animals in the way that you feel is best for you. So I'm not at all criticizing them. This is what they really like, and actually I thoroughly enjoy being able to come over here and check out the animals. So but let's show you kind of what I do with them and show you some of the cool animals that they have that I don't have that you'll probably find very interesting. So the mornings for them, I start out first by letting all their animals out. After I let all their animals out, then I'll work on feeding everybody from that point on. They got this super awesome coop that they built that matches their barn. And they got, I don't know if they're red sex links or what they are, but they got about 5 or 6 hens. In terms of food consumption, those eggs are probably the only thing that they really probably raise here that they actually do consume. Here's probably one of my favorite guys that they have on their farm. And the sun's really shining straight at the camera, so it's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt trying to show it to you, but you know, we'll show you the best we can. I think they call him Mr. Quacks. He is the dad of the ducks that we hatched in our incubator that we talked about on our live video and posted pictures on Facebook to Instagram too. And they're actually here on this property, so you'll get to see those ducks. All 5 are still alive, growing fast, so we'll let you see those guys. But he's kind of the king out here, and he gets free reign of all this area. And since I've been here working, he pretty much just follows me all around, which is pretty cool. But you can see how they've kind of done theirs. They actually have 3 different pens. That door does not go to anything. That's actually more just a facade for the chicken area. But they've actually got it set up where they have these individualized pens for each of the animals. And they really just use a lower grade welded wire with the lower grade T-posts, and they've zip tied them all the way around. And I've actually been shocked that it's kept all these animals in that they have. And then in each of their areas that connects them, they have these gates, and you know, they're fairly inexpensive. They slide up and out. They're very thin metal. You do kind of got to finagle them to get the slides to go in, but you know, this is a setup that's worked for them, and they've been running this now. I would say they've had these animals at least 2 years, and low cost, but has been functioning just well for them. But I think it goes to show you that if your animals have all their needs met, then they're less likely to try to get out. The only time exception to that is if it's breeding time, but they've kind of got their setup where, with the exception of the ducks, there's nothing here that's able to be bred. They're all the same sex, so there's not, either they got 2 males or 2 females, so there's really none of that going on. So their needs are met, and I think that's why they never try to get out of here. So it just goes, take good care of your animals, they're happy, they're not going to try to get out most likely. So let's get this first group out here. They just use this little zip tie on this nail to hold the door open. Y'all want to come out and say hi to everybody? This particular animal is actually very skittish. I've been able to touch them just a couple times over the days, but they really stay pretty shy. I don't know, we might have to go into them here in a little bit. Morning, guys. How are you all? You're fine. Good morning. Y'all want to go outside? Go on. So guys, these are baby doll sheep. These are 2 male baby doll sheep, and they are pretty much full grown now. That shows you how small they actually are. Up to me, they kind of come up by right to my hip, and that's their head levels up to my hip. So they're a very small sheep. I've actually looked into these sheep over in, I believe, in the European countries. These were actually raised for a meat type of sheep, for small scale farms, small scale homesteads. So if you're interested in a sheep that is very small and easy to manage, baby doll sheep may be one of the ones you look into. Now they are very similar like a Kune, where they are a bit more pricey than a lot of yours, but if you need to go ahead and spend a little more to give you a little bit of an easier setup and something that doesn't take up a lot of space, these baby doll sheep may be something for you. You can see, she actually said the problem they're having is that they're not grazing the pasture down enough, that they're actually having to come in here and mow. And they're probably in an area that I would estimate to be about a 50 by 30 maybe, give or take. And that's supporting these 2 baby doll sheep just fine. Outside of that, they're just eating hay. So it sounds like a pretty simple setup with these guys. We love coming over and seeing them. She just had them sheared a while back. Their coat is a lot lighter than that. They do stay pretty dirty and dusty. You guys gonna eventually let me play with y'all? Huh? Why won't you let me touch you? You let me touch you? Come me. Let me touch your fur. All right, let's go let out the mischievous ones. If there's anybody that's giving me more work to do than I should, it's been one of these 2. You might see their little nose. That tells you why I got a problem. These are going to be 2 Juliana pigs, little mini pigs. And this one right here is so much smaller than the other guy. This guy right here, he's Mr. Mischievous. He's the one who likes to keep me on my toes while I'm watching them. He broke into the fencing here where they got watermelons and pumpkins growing and decided to root one up right over there. Sorry about the sunlight, guys, but they don't have much shade and that sun is bright. I know you want to eat too, huh? We're going to feed you in a minute. Those 2 keep you on your toes. You got to make sure every gate is closed like it's supposed to be with those guys. Door number 3. Feel like that show, Let's Make a Deal. What's behind door number 2? Good morning. How are you? I think this goat is one of the prettiest goats I've ever seen. And they actually let me pet on them, which has been kind of cool. So I've been spending a little bit of time with these goats here. And there's the other one right there. But these are some beautiful goats. Good morning, guys. You're curious about the camera. Typical goat. Curiosity's getting the better of you. Good morning, girl. How are you? So I don't want to be quoted on the breed of these goats. Honestly, I can't remember what the breed is. They are full grown, so they are a smaller breed of goat, but I can't remember exactly what type they are, so I really can't tell you. I just know that they've had these guys now for a couple years, and I really enjoy them. They're pretty cool. Do you approve of the goats, Mr. Quack? All right, can y'all give me a little bit of space here so I can let the rabbits out? Come here, move over. Move. Move, please. I just gotta get in this gate. The goats are super curious about my camera. What? You just really want the camera? You are a cute little fella, I give you that much. Then we got some bunnies. Oh, there's one. There's another guy in here too, a little dark fella. There he is. Come on, buddy. You scared? So this is kind of a cool setup, and I'd like to do something like this for our rabbits, but they just kind of have this little ground area that they run around, and yeah, they dig some holes here or there, but they've been staying inside, so I guess it's worked out, and they've run some hardware cloth along the bottom edges, I think, to help contain them in a little better. But so these 2 little guys will run around here all day. Come over here to the side. This is going to be the baby ducks that we hatched, and they have gotten so big so fast. Sometimes they're a little delayed on coming out. I hear you. Do I see you in there? There you are. Y'all wanna come out and play? Here they come. So these guys have grown a ton. Oh, your little legs weren't long enough. So they come out here play in the pool first thing in the morning. Now they did say they had to put this fence up because he was getting a little too aggressive towards them, so they did have to separate them. They originally tried to put them all together, but it just didn't work out for right now. So just as there's a Mr. Quacks, there is a Mrs. Quacks, and she's in here. So I'll show you her right now, and she's actually sitting on the nest. Before I get Mrs. Quacks all stirred up though, I'm gonna get her pool ready because I've learned she likes to get out here and get her morning bath. So while Mrs. Quack's pool's filling up, let's talk real briefly. You may hear she's getting wound up because I'm near her nest, but you know, they have a huge amount of space out here. You know, I think they got somewhere in between 8 to 12 acres, all flat. I mean, it's gorgeous property. You know, where ours is only 3 and it's very rocky, but we've been able to make it work for us small scale. But of all this property that they have, you know, even with the big huge barn, I'm pretty sure that this area that actually contains the animals themselves is no more than 1/2 to 3/4 of an acre at most. So you figure they have in this area 2 goats, 2 baby doll sheep, several ducks, several chickens, 2 Juliana pigs. You know, this is a setup that you realistically could have if you had an acre of a property. You know, having a barn like that too is gorgeous. I'd love it if I had a barn like that. I'd be just in heaven. But Mrs. Rocky Creek probably wouldn't like it because I'd probably just be in the barn all the time. So it may be better for me and my marriage that I don't have a barn like that. But nonetheless, you know, you could easily have individual housing structures in each of these pens and it'd be just fine. They don't have heavy duty farm fencing that you see a lot of people have. And for them, it has worked fine because all the needs are met for the animals. So I just want to make sure that y'all could see that it is possible and you don't have to have a huge amount of property in order to raise these types of animals. Yes, they have a huge amount, but they don't utilize all that for this. Just a very small corner of it is used for this animal production. But let's get her pool filled up. She's definitely a protective mother on her nest, and I'll show that to you. It's pretty cool. All right, we got her pool all filled up. Now we'll come, there she goes. She's all worked up. Well, good morning. Oh, you are so mad. I saw it. All right, I'm not gonna disturb you anymore. She's so angry, but I have learned, once I get out of her way, she'll come out here and get her morning bath. You know, mama gotta have her bath, right? Mr. Quack, 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 Mr. Quack. All right, so pretty much all I do is I let them all out, get all the pools filled up, make sure everybody's good. Then we'll go into the actual barn where I do all their feed and water all at one time. Seems to work out really well. These baby doll sheep definitely drink the most water of any of the animals that they have. I'm guessing it's maybe because of all that wool in their coating, especially since it's the summer months. Probably gets them good and hot. And they don't really have a pool. You know, the pigs got a pool out there. The goats don't have a pool, but they have access to the ducks pool. So that could be part of the reason as well. But the sheep definitely, I have to fill up their water pretty much every afternoon. So they didn't barely drink any water last night. That thing's pretty much still full. So letting them out, throwing their hay in, they're good to go. I don't care what farm you go to. Pigs will always be ready to eat no matter what. Hey, come on. Gotta do a little juke job. So I do gotta monitor these ones though, because big dog here tries to take little one's food, so I gotta intervene a little bit, make sure this one gets a fair shake at the food. Everybody, I'm gonna give you some more water. Get your head out the bowl. So I find the hay racks pretty interesting that they used in here as well. There actually looks like it's metal shelving from or metal wire shelving that like would have been in a closet or something. And they've rigged them up with some zip ties through it and just have these boards as a little bit of stabilizers. So it just shows, you know, simple DIY things right there that anybody can do, and it works out pretty well. I tell you too, I think this black and brown goat, I think, is one of the prettiest goats I've ever seen. See, I'm a boy, don't call me pretty. I'm sorry, buddy. These two goats are probably my favorite animals that they have here. Whenever I take care of them, this is probably the third time we've helped take care of these guys. I always enjoy spending time with these goats. They're pretty cool. And then the baby ducks need their food. So that little rabbit setup's pretty cool. You can see there's the doorway that we let them out into the barn, or out of the barn in. And usually one of them sleeps in the house, one sleeps on top, got their food, got their water. And at night, I pretty much just walk towards them and they run in on their own. It's pretty neat. All right, buddy. I'm leaving for the day. You keep everybody straight for me? You're a cute goat too, but I just like the other one a little bit better. So guys, that's 2 farms, 2 sets of chores on a weekday. So if I can do my farm and work full time, and on top of that, if I can do 2 farms and still work full time, then that shows you that you very well should think a little bit about, if you're serious about trying to raise some of your own food, or maybe get into raising some kind of animals for whatever reason it may be. You know, it is possible. You just gotta make sure you think it through and make sure you do your research before getting into it. But I also wanted to show you this, as I said earlier, that you don't have to have a huge amount of space to do it. You just need to think it through and think about what's going to work, and it should work out just fine for you. So guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing all these cool animals around here and seeing their setup as compared to my setup. You know, like I said, when it comes to doing this, guys, you got to do what's best for you and raise those animals how you see fit and for the reasons that you believe to be important to you. You know, farming or homesteading is a very much of an individualized philosophy and thought process, that it's good to get advice from people, but at the end of the day, there is no one set perfect mold to reasons why and how you should do this. So you just need to make sure that you do what's best for your family and for your personal needs, and that way you can actually have some enjoyment in what you're doing, because if you enjoy it, then you'll stick with it much longer. Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be some low points. There will always be some lows, but you got to make sure that the highs outweigh those lows and that you're doing it for the reasons that are important to you, which will keep you motivated. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed seeing this today. I hope everybody's doing well, but I need to get home and I need to get ready for my work day now. So I'm going to pack it up, I'm going to wrap it up, and we're going to see y'all here real soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks, guys.